Dodgers Nation, I want to talk to you today about a name that has generated expectation, hope, and at the same time, concern over the last two seasons. Michael Kopech. Before anything else, let me state up front that this isn't a simple matter. We're talking about a pitcher who has shown real talent, the ability to make an immediate impact, and the skill to change the pace of a game. But we're also talking about a player whose health has become a constant, sometimes unpredictable, variable. And now, after the end of the 2025 season, Kopech has officially entered the free agent market, opening a delicate chapter for the Dodgers. Kopech arrived in Los Angeles in 2024 from the Chicago White Sox, and from the very first moment it was clear that there was a high level of technical expectation surrounding him. He didn't come to fill out the roster. He came to change dynamics, to bring extreme speed and a psychological effect on opposing hitters. And the truth is, initially, he delivered exactly that. In 2024, Kopech made 24 appearances in the Dodgers bullpen and recorded an impressive ERA of 1.13, striking out 29 batters in just 24 innings. In other words, high-level production, a dominant presence on the mound, and an immediate fit within the team's strategy. And the most interesting thing is that this performance wasn't just statistical, it was sensory. You could feel the game change when he came on. His fastball speed was among the highest in the league. His aggressiveness in dueling with the batter was calculated, and the confidence with which he attacked the strike zone showed that he perfectly understood what it meant to be part of a team that plays to win everything. He didn't play to compete. He played to end games. In the 2024 postseason, Kopech followed the same pattern. He made 10 appearances, had a 3.00 ERA, showed consistency in tight moments, and delivered solid execution. The overall impression was, this guy is a prospect for the future, a weapon that could, at the very least, establish itself as a permanent presence in the high-leverage rotation of the bullpen, that trusted group the coach calls upon when the game is on the razor's edge. But baseball, as always, is a demanding sport. And that demand came in a way that no fan likes to acknowledge: injuries. The 2025 season practically never gave Kopech the stability he needed. In March, he was placed on the injured list due to impingement syndrome in his right shoulder. In May, he ended up being moved to the 60-day list. It was a start to the season that already sent a signal. This was not going to be an easy ride. He returned in early June, and for a brief moment, it seemed that the worst was over. But less than a month later, new problem. This time in the right knee. Once again, a list of injured players. Once again, the bullpen's rhythm needed to be readjusted. And here's a point we, as fans, need to understand clearly. A team that is building a dynasty, and the Dodgers are building one, cannot have key players coming and going from the roster without predictability. It's not about talent, it's about durability, the ability to be available when the game is demanding. Kopech returned again in September, and once more it seemed like everything was moving towards a fresh start. But his knee started bothering him again, and he had to return to the injured list. As a result, he missed both the end of the regular season and the entire postseason. And when a player misses the most important moment of the year, the sporting and emotional impact is undeniable. And here, I want to be fair. Even with such a fragmented season, when Kopech was healthy, he played well. In 2025, he made 14 appearances, with 11 innings, 12 strikeouts, and only 3 earned runs. His ERA was 2.45, solid, respectable numbers. Moreover, his fastball remained among the 10% faster than any other player in MLB, and its strikeout rate of 28.7%, it's higher than the league average. He also didn't allow any hard hits in the innings he pitched, which, technically, is extremely rare and valuable. In other words, there's no doubt about his talent. It's real. But baseball is a pragmatic sport. Elite teams, like the Dodgers, can't rely on players who haven't yet demonstrated physical consistency. And that's exactly where we enter the current scenario. With the end of the season, Kopech became a free agent, and according to market projections, like the one analyzed by Tim Britton of Source Name, he is a free agent. The Athletic. The expectation is that Kopech will receive a 2-year contract in the range of $22 million. And this is where the conversation changes dimension. We're no longer just talking about talent. We're talking about investment, risk, and cast-building strategy. And I want to explore that calmly in Part 2. Because this decision involves something much bigger than just numbers. It involves the dynasty project, the core of the bullpen, and the kind of team the Dodgers want to be going forward. So let's continue, Dodgers Nation. Now that we understand what Michael Kopech delivered, what he symbolized, and what he couldn't sustain because of injuries, we need to talk about what really matters right now, the strategic impact of his departure. And what does that mean within the Dodgers project for the coming years? When we talk about a possible offer of 2 years and $22 million, as Tim Britton projects from The Athletic, we're talking about a contract that isn't considered light. It's a contract for a player expected to play a significant role, whether as a high-impact piece in the 8th inning or as an option in critical situations. This type of investment isn't made with doubt. It's made with conviction. And today, the big question is, do the Dodgers still have faith in Kopech? Based on my analysis of the season, the behind-the-scenes events, and the behavior of the front office, I can tell you they have respect. But conviction, no more. And that changes everything. The Dodgers have made it very clear in recent years how they structure their roster philosophy. Depth, physical stability, and a high level of performance under pressure. When a part is not readily available, it becomes a breaking point within a system that relies on the gears turning with absolute precision. Today's Dodgers bullpen is no longer just a sector that withstands variations. It's part of the core that sustains the team's competitive identity. It's where games are frozen. It's where victories are preserved. It's where a World Series is won or lost. Therefore, keeping Kopech now would be betting not on what he delivers when healthy, but on an uncertain future where health is the dominant factor. And the Dodgers, more than ever, this is not a team that gambles on uncertainty. The emotional aspect also weighs heavily. Kopech is well liked in the locker room. The players recognize his competitive attitude, dedication, and focus. No one doubts his desire to contribute. But, at the end of the day, professional sports is about results. And Los Angeles isn't just aiming for a good year. It's aiming an era, a sequence, a definitive statement in the history of the league. When we talk about a possible three-peat, we're no longer talking about competing. We're talking about to enter the territory of the Yankees from the golden years. We're talking about inscribing the franchise's name on a level where few teams in history have dared to dream. And for that, each piece needs to be a piece that responds under pressure, is available, is ready. This is where the technical aspect definitively comes into play. Kopech has the talent to be a high-impact piece. Mas Kopech failed to deliver availability. And availability, today, at Dodgers, it's worth as much as performance. This explains why the market can offer it to him. A contract that the Dodgers are unwilling to match, not because they don't consider it good, not because they underestimate its value, but because the team's philosophy demands continuity. And Kopech couldn't provide that. Now, what does this mean for the cast? This means that the Dodgers must, looking for a high-impact arm that already has a consistent track record of durability, reinforce the bullpen with reliable depth. It's not just an explosion of talent. Continue developing internal components, especially players who have already adapted to the competitive environment of Los Angeles. And this is where an important point comes in. The Dodgers aren't just losing Kopech. They're losing a possibility of situational dominance in the mound. And replacing her isn't simply about finding someone with a strong, fast ball. It's about finding someone who, not only does he play well, but he can handle the schedule of 162 games plus the postseason. This is rare. That's expensive. And that's exactly what differentiates strong teams from legendary teams. I want you, the fan, to understand one thing. This decision isn't about liking or disliking the player. It's about long-term project. The Dodgers are at a point where they need to protect not only the present, but also the continuity of a winning style that has become the franchise's trademark. Kopech could indeed succeed on another team. He might even find stability again and become one of the best in the country in high-profile situations. But the Dodgers, at this moment, it can't be the team that waits for this to happen. And that brings us to the final point. Kopech's departure is not just a squad move. It's an affirmation of identity. Now I want to know, would you renew Michael Kopech's contract, taking the physical risk, but believing in his talent? Or do you agree that the Dodgers should prioritize stability and look for another player on the market? Leave a comment, Dodgers Nation. I read every single opinion. If you want to follow every rumor, every step in this casting process, every decision that shapes the future of the franchise, subscribe to Dodgers News Blue Family Turn on notifications and come with me. Because this story doesn't end here. She is just getting started.